of the foundations of the teaching and learning process. We are done with the historical foundations. What else? And the second part was the philosophical foundations. Okay, and now let's apply legal and sociological as well as anthropological principles or basis of education into the teaching and learning process. Okay, into the teaching and learning process. So you should be able to identify the different rights, the different principles, standards, of course, in the field of education, as a teacher in the community, okay, in the state, okay, and many others. Okay, so we have today legal basis of education. So when we speak about legal basis, if you happen to meet in the different practice tests, itong mga Republic Acts, presidential decrees, minsan may mga Department of Education or DepEd order, okay? These are all basis. So for teachers, we have the Presidential Decree 1006 or PD 1006, and then the following Republic Acts. So in terms of education, ito namang tatlo. Okay? Ito lang yung pinaka, kumbaga, popular, pinaka laging na may mention sa mga board exams. Okay? Pero marami pang iba. Okay? Marami tayong legal basis of education. But of course, ang pinaka-umbrella niyan is yung una dapat diyan is the 1987 Constitution. Okay? In the 1987 Constitution, yun yung pinaka-umbrella ng lahat. So let's start with the first, and that is the 1987 Constitution. Saan ba makikita ang about sa education doon? It's in Article 14, Sections 1 to 5. In the Constitution, Article 14, Sections 1 to 5, it discusses about education, about science and technology, arts, culture, and sports. Okay? So, dyan, let's say for example, sa Section 1 yan, it discusses that the state shall, for example, protect, promote the rights of all citizens, of all people in the country to quality education. Okay? Quality education at all levels. Tapos, dapat, sabi ng state, dapat maging, ng constitution rather, dapat ang education maging accessible sa lahat. Okay? Maging accessible sa lahat. That the state shall, for example, establish, maintain, support, integrated system of education in the country. And this education system should be relevant to the needs of the people. Okay? So yan yung pinaka root or umbrella ng mga legal basis of education. Diyan siya sa ating 1987 Constitution. Okay, so let's start with let's continue. In Presidential Decree 1006, by the way, naka-ano ito, I don't know if you access, nandun sa Google Classroom, naka-download ang mga ito, and then nandun siya. Kung titignan nyo yung about foundations of the teaching learning process, kita nyo po, if you happen to open, nandun yung laman nitong PD 1006. Okay? So ano ba tong PD 1006 na to o Presidential Decree? This is a decree professionalizing teaching. Okay? So ang title ng decree na ito is Providing for the Professionalization of Teachers, that regulating their practice in the Philippines and for other purposes. Yan yung PD 1006 na sinasabi natin. So, nandun naka-upload. So, ano nyo lang, i-download nyo and then basta basahin. Okay? Pero ano ang important sections ng PD 1006? Ang PD 1006, since it is a presidential decree, so sabi niya, the Constitution provides that all educational institutions shall be under the supervision of ito, Department of Education and Culture. Yan pa ang tawag dati. Okay? So sabi niya, minamandate ni Constitution that all educational institutions shall be under the supervision of one department, and that is the Department of Education and Culture. Na siya ang magme-maintain, mag-establish ng system of education sa ating bansa relative to the goals of national development. Okay, so yan yung PD 1006. So in that decree also, dinidefine ang teaching or teachers. Ang sabi doon, teaching refers to the profession primarily concerned with the classroom instruction in both elementary, secondary levels, okay, as prescribed by the National Board of Education. Tapos, that is teaching. Sino naman ang teachers na dinidefine dyan? Teachers, sila daw yung mga na-engage into teaching at the elementary and secondary level, whether they are part-time or full-time workers, okay, on full-time or part-time basis, including, okay, noong PD 1006, na-include pa ang guidance counselors as teachers. Teachers din ang tawag sa kanila. School librarians, industrial arts, vocational arts teachers, okay, and other persons performing supervisory and administrative functions in all schools. Okay? So, yan, nung una kasi yung PD 1006. Pero syempre, nagkakaroon ng changes, may mga amendments later on. In terms of qualification requirements for application, yan, kasama din na dyan noon yung kung mag-e-exam, magbo-board exam ang teacher. So, ang mga teachers dapat daw sa kindergarten and elementary, dapat bachelor and elementary education or its equivalent. Tapos sa mga high school, syempre secondary education. Pero pwede din daw yung mga bachelor's degree in arts or sciences with at least 18 units in professional education. So yan, nakasama na pala yung kinukuha natin. Okay? So kahit graduate ka ng BS or AD, basta meron kang 18 units, at least 18 units of education, professional education, pwede ka na mag-take ng board exams. Okay? Tapos yung mga secondary vocational teachers, dapat ano din sila, degree in the field of specialization. Kagaya ng, ngayon meron tayong senior high school. So pwedeng magturo na doon sa senior high school yung mga electrical engineers kasi specialization nila yun. Especially sa subject na TLE, yung electricity, yun. Okay? Basta meron din silang 18 units in professional education. So, yun din yung case ninyo. Halimbawa, kung ano ka, psychology ka, so may 18 units ka, pwede kang magturo ng senior high school. Especially yung mga science-related subjects. Okay? Now, in PD 1006, dito sa ratings in the examination, dati in order for a teacher or a candidate may be deemed to have, let's say for example, successfully pass the examinations, he must have obtained a general average of at least 70% in all subjects. Okay? 70% in all subjects with no rating below 50 in any subject. Yan nung una, diba? Sana ganun din pa rin ngayon, diba? Para kung may 71 ka, pasado. Pero syempre, yan yung unang decree. So, nabago na yan. Okay? So, in PD 1006, ang ratings in the examination before, I repeat, is 70% in all subjects. At least, ang average mo is 70%. Tapos, dapat wala kang rating na below 50%. Halimbawa, kahit naka 99 ka sa general education, 95 sa professional education, pero 49 lang yung majorship mo, bagsak ka pa din. Kasi sabi dito, with no rating below 50% in any subject. So, kailangan balance lang. Okay? So, that's PD 1006. Ito yung mga important sections niya. Okay? Kasi minsan malilito kayo. Like for example, pag sinabing in PD 1006, ano dapat ang i-obtain ng isang teacher para pumasa sa LET exams? So, ang alam mo lang is 75. Pero hindi. Ito kasi yung una. So, dapat at least 70% ang rating mo. Okay? Next. Republic Act 7836. Ito naman yung Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. Okay. Ano itong Republic Act na? Yung una kasi is Presidential Decree. Yung ano lang, tawag doon, in-announce ng President na ito ay kailangan masunod about education. Ano pa yan ito noon? Si Ferdinand Marcos Sr. pa dati. Okay? Now, itong Republic Act, ito na yung sa act na talaga siya. Kumbaga, Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. So, ang important section niyan, ganun pa din. About examination, scope of the exam, definitions, pero meron ng mga amendments. Okay? Now, dito, nag-umpisa, yung definition ng teachers ay wala na yung mga guidance. Hindi na sila considered teacher. So, ang teaching dito is siyempre, ganun pa rin, profession concerned primarily with classroom instruction in the elementary and secondary level. Okay? Same pa din na ganun. Of course, yung curriculum, yung ba ang nagpe-prescribe? Yung Department of Education, Culture, and Sports pa dati. Whether you are on a part-time or full-time basis as worker in private and public schools. Okay? Now, ang teachers dito, kanina sa Presidential Decree, ang teachers, all persons engaged in teaching at the elementary and secondary levels, whether full-time or part-time, including, ano ba ang kasama sa pag sinabing teachers? Industrial arts and vocational teachers. Okay? Industrial arts and vocational teachers and all other persons performing supervisory functions in all the schools. And qualified to practice teaching under this act. So, hindi na na-include dito yung mga guidance counselor, librarian, pero they belong to administrative function naman. So, provided that they are allowed to teach, then they can be called as teachers. May mga ganun kasi, di ba? Librarian, pwede siyang magturo sa isang topic sa English, yung tawag doon, di ba meron tayong ganun, yung pag about sa library, paano mag-reference, paano maghanap ng researches, ganyan. Okay? And then, yung scope of examination sa Republic Act 7836, yan, dito na na-identify. So, si elementary, ang e-exam niya ay 2. We have professional education and general education. So, si Gen Ed, ito yung English, Filipino, Math, Science. 10 na ngayon ang component ng Gen Ed starting 2023. Dati kasi 5 lang. English, Filipino, Math, Science, and Social Studies. Ngayon, 10 na siya. Ano yung mga 10 na yon? Kasama na ang Rizal, History, Philippine History, yung Arts Appreciation, meron pa yung about sa values, ethics, basta 10 yun. Okay? Di-discuss natin yun later on pag natapos nyo lahat. So, ang elementary, ang ini-exam lang nila ay Gen Ed and Prof Ed. Kaya during the LET, half day lang sila, kayong high school, buong araw. Bakit buong araw? Kasi meron pa kayong major shift na 4 na oras yun. Ang general education, 2 hours lang, 150 items. Si Prof Ed, itong pinag-aaralan natin, is 3 hours, 150 items. At saka yung major shift ninyo, kung social studies kayo, or science, or English, is 150 items din, but it's 4 hours. So medyo may time, mahaba-haba yun. Okay? So, yun naman pag sa secondary. Secondary is 3. General education, professional education, and your major shift. So that's the scope of the examination. Okay? Now, qualification is ganun pa din. Dapat graduate ka ng bachelor's degree, okay? Or its equivalent, or kung hindi ka education graduate, dapat meron kang at least 18 units. Okay? Tapos sabi ni Republic Act 7836, kailangan munang mag-take oath ka, mag-oath taking ka muna bago ka magturo, before you practice the profession. Okay? So every passer, every registrant shall be required to take professional oath before practicing as a professional teacher. Okay? Dati, meron pa rin tayong ewan ko lang kung meron pa ngayon sa Pilipinas. After that kasi, pwede kang mag-exam ulit every 5 years. Pero hindi yung LET ha. Ito yung periodic merit examinations. Ito kasi yung parang continuing professional development ng mga teachers. Okay? Pwede kang mag-take. Kung hindi ka pumasa, take ka ulit, ganon. Okay? Now, ano ba itong merit examination na ito? Ito yung pag mga ginagamit sa incentives, yung mga pumapasa kasi sila yung mga napupromote, kasi may merit points yan sinasabi. Pag ranking na, promotion, may mga points system. Okay? Inhibition against the practice of the teaching profession. And then, yung mga penal provisions. Yan yung Republic Act 7836. So, if you want more details, nandun, naka-upload siya. Basahin nyo lang siya. Okay? Next, let's proceed. Ito na yung amendment of the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. Ito yung kasasabi lang natin, di ba? Yung 7836, siya yung Philippine Teachers Professional Act of 1994. Ngayon, in-amend, hindi naman buo, meron lang mga part na binago at naging Republic Act 9293. Amendment of the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act. Okay, ano yung mga amendment na yon? Sample, qualification of applicants. So, sa qualification, dinagdag na kasi yung yung mga nagtuturo sa kindergarten. dapat daw, pag nagturo ka sa kindergarten, dapat meron kang bachelor's degree in early childhood education. Dati kasi, pag elementary teacher ka, pwede kang magturo sa preschool. Okay? But now, kailangan bachelor's degree in early childhood education. Tapos pag elementary naman, ang requirement is bachelor's degree in elementary education. Tapos sa secondary education. And then, yung mga non-education graduates, yun, at least 18 units. Kaya, paano nyo malalaman kung anong i-major nyo? Meron ding listahan na pinoprovide. Kaya, siyempre, ako, alam ko na yun. Kaya, nung nag-inquire kayo, tatanungin ko kung anong bachelor's nyo. Tapos sasabihin ko kaagad, science major ka, social studies major ka, TLE major ang iti-take mo. Okay? Ganon. What else? Exceptions or registration and exemptions. Sabi ng section na yan, that is section 26 in Republic Act 9293. Sabi niya, no person shall engage in teaching or act as a professional teacher, whether in preschool, in elementary, secondary, unless the person is duly registered professional teacher. And of course, you are a holder of the certificate of registration and yung license na sinasabi natin, yung PRC license. Yung certificate of registration, pag nakapasa ka kasi, kasama ka na rin sa lupon ng mga guro. Makaka-receive ka din ng ganun, ng certificate. Okay? Now, may mga exceptions. Siyempre, upon approval of the application, and siyempre, payment of prescribed fees. May mga, let's say for example, kahit wala kang board exams, kung let's say, if you are a holder of a certificate of eligibility as a teacher na binigay ng Civil Service Commission at saka DepEd, pwede ka rin magturo. Okay? Pwede ka rin magturo. Yung mga professional teachers, take note nyo to ha, ito. Professional teachers who have not practiced the profession for the past 5 years. Let's say, halimbawa, itong mga case natin, OFW ka, lisensyado kang teacher, pero nag-abroad ka, yung household workers ka, nagtatulong ka, o nag-sales ka sa Dubai, nagtrabaho ka sa hotel ng 5 years or 6 years onwards. Now, gusto mo nang umuwi at pag-uwi mo magtuturo ka. Hindi ka pa pwedeng magturo. Okay? Kasi you need to kumuha ka ng 12 units of education courses. Mag-refresher course ka. Okay? Mag-refresher course ka sa PNU or sa any Pero refresher lang naman. Kasi kailangan mong balikan itong mga pinag-aralan natin, yung mga principles and methods, yung assessment. Kasi halimbawa, let's say 6 years ka ng sales lady sa Dubai. So wala ka ng idea sa anong nangyayari sa atin sa curriculum. Nagbago na, K-12 na. Tapos uuwi ka, hindi mo alam ang gagawin. So ang alam mo pa lang is yung napag-aralan mo 10 years ago. So kailangan, kaya ang sabi dito sa amendment, pag 5 years na hindi nagturo at gustong bumalik sa pagtuturo, kailangan niya naka-refresher course. At least 12 units. Kalahati doon ay yung about sa principles and methods, yung pedagogy, strategy. Kasi baka malay mo yung mga pinag-aralan mong strategy noon, hindi na pala applicable ngayon. So you need to upgrade. You need to keep yourselves abreast with the latest. Okay? And then 6 units para sa mga sa context courses. Okay? Context courses na yun na sinasabi. Now, ano naman itong para-teachers na sinasabi ni Republic Act 9293? Ang para-teachers, ito yung mga na-failed sa exam during the licensure examination for professional teachers with a rating of not lower than 5 percentage points from the passing general average rating. Pwede siyang mag-para-teacher. So, pwede siyang bigyan ng 2 years na special permit, pero renewable din yun. Okay? Ng another 2 years. So, sino ba yung mga para-teachers? Kasi minsan, kahit let's say, example, noong March, 100,000, hundreds of thousands yung mga pumasa, di ba? So, nagkakaroon pa rin tayo ng shortage ng teachers sa Philippines. Kasi, yung mga pumapasa, hindi naman sila pumunta nagtuturo. Nag-a-abroad, nagpupunta. Pag sa Pilipinas naman, nagko-call center. Kaya, yung mga interested, let's say ang rating niya ay 73, ang passing ay 75. So, pwede siyang tawaging para-teacher. Okay? So, para-teachers ang tawag doon sa mga, ano lang ha, yung mga from 71 to 74.99. So, kung ang rating mo ay 74.2 at in need talaga yung school, pwede kang mag-apply. Okay? As para-teachers. So, you'll be given 2-year special permit. Pero, syempre, within the 2 years, kailangan mo ring mag-review and take the exams again. Okay? Nakuha? So, we call that para-teachers. Tandaan nyo yan kasi laging nakikita yan sa mga board exams. Now, ano naman yung special permit to teach? Halimbawa, si Manny Pacquiao, kinuha siya sa isang school na magturo ng sports. Is he qualified to teach in that particular school? Sila Lea Salonga, pag kinuha siyang magtuturo ng music sa isang school, yes, they are qualified. Yun ang tinatawag nating special permit to teach. Now, paano ba ang qualification niyan? A special permit may also be issued by the board, by PRC, to a person who has excelled and gained international recognition. Okay? Pag naka-gain sila ng international recognition and it is widely acknowledged expert in his or her respective field of specialization, pwede siyang mabigyan ng special permit to teach. Okay? Basta nanalo siya sa international, may recognition siya doon. So sila Manny Pacquiao, di ba? Sila Lea Salonga sa music. Ano pa? Yung mga, yung mga nag-Olympics, yung mga nagsi-SEA Games na nanalo, pwede silang magturo. Because merong special permits sa kanila. Okay? As long as, syempre, nag-excel sila doon. O sino pa yung nanalo? First Olympian natin, si Heidelin Diaz. O. Pero wala namang tuturo niya doon sa pagbubuhat. Pero pwede siya kung kukunin siya magturo sa MAPE or sa physical education. Yan. She will be given special permit to teach primarily because she has excelled and gained international recognition. Okay? Yan yung Republic Act 9293 na amendment. Kumbaga, dinugtong. Sinama. Kanina lang, yung 7836 kasi, eto lang, qualification, wala para-teachers doon, wala din ganito, basta pag-teacher ka, pwede ka nang magturo. Pero sabi sa 9293, pag na-stuck ka, kailangan mong mag-refresher course. And then, special permit to teach. Pag ng mga nagtitake ng let dito, alam, if you will meet them, iba, very inspiring ang mga stories nila. Kaya na-inspire din akong tulungan sila, tumulong, kasi volunteer ang ginagawa natin sa kanila na, let's say sa inyo later on, when you go for the let, volunteerism yung ginagawa natin. Community volunteer kami. Wala kaming bayad, pero tinutulungan namin kayong mag-review. Okay? Now, karamihan sa kanila, mga magtatrabaho sa bahay, pero teacher sila, hindi pa sila pumapasa sa board. Okay? So, syempre, ang tanging pangarap nila is pumasa sa board at mag-for good na. Syempre, ang tinapos nila ay teacher. Secondary education teacher, elementary education teacher, pero nung hindi pumasa sa Pilipinas, nag-abroad, nagkatulong, o nag-sales. So, yung iba sa kanila, every year yan, nag-e-exam, every year. Sabi nila, okay lang sir, wala naman nakakaalam na nag-e-exam kami eh. Wala naman nakakaalam. Yeah, tama yan. Tama yung mentality na yan, sabi ko naman. Diba? Merong pumasa noong April. Ako yung pinakamasaya. Kasi, since 2016, nire-review ko na siya. Kami ang laging nakikita every review. 2016. Kasi 2015, nag-umpisa ang LET dito sa UAE. 16, 17, 18. Nag-stop lang siya nung 2022, 2021 kasi may pandemic. So every year talaga siya nag-e-exam. Kaya nung lumabas ang result, pangalan niya ang una kong tinignan. Kaya tuwan-tuwa ako kasi at long last, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, plus 23, pang-anim na niyang attempts. Pumasa na siya, kaya tuwan-tuwa siya. Grabe ang pero nakikita ko din kasi ang kanyang effort. Noong 2016, line of 6 ang average niya. Noong 17, line of 7 na. Tapos noong 2019 pala, kasi walang 2020, 21, 23 years pa lang wala. Noong 2019, ano na siya? 73.6. So sabi ko, Miss, malapit na. Kaya siguro, nag-effort siya nung pandemic na nag-review. Ano siya? Patulong siya. Tuwang-tuwa siya, pumasa siya. Pero ang grade niya, 79. Mataas-taas. Talagang, kung meron ka talagang goal, gagawin mo ang lahat. Nakaka-inspire siya as in. So sabi ko sa kanya, sige, gusto niya mag-for good. Kasi mantakin mo, napag-aral na niya ang mga anak niya, napag-graduate na niya ng nurse, ganun siya. Sabi niya, sir, parang may kulang sa buhay ko, sabi. Teacher ako, pero wala akong license. Kaya sige pa rin siya ng sige. Kaya ngayon, pumasa na siya. So sabi ko, sige, mag-apply ka na ng STEAMS, pero mag-refresher ka muna kasi ilang taon kang hindi nagturo. So, pag ganito naman, pag UFW ka, pwede kang mag-refresher ng online sa PNU. Bibigyan ka ng ganito rin, module. Ito rin. Itong mga subjects na to din. Pag-aaralan mo lang, para mabalikan mo lang yung mga hindi mo na pre-practice kasi hindi ka nagturo for the past 6 years, 7 years. Okay? And then, pag pinasa mo na, ayan, apply ka na sa STEAMS para pag-uwi mo, sabi ko, mag-for good ka na next year para mag-apply ka, para pag-uwi mo sa Pinas, agad-agad may item ka na sa public school. Kasi that's your benefit as an OFW. OFW teacher. Okay? Kaya pag pumasa na din kayo sa LET, at let's say, yun, kung naisipan nyo lang mag-for good na, huwag kayong umuwi na hindi nakaka-apply sa STEAMS. Okay? Kasama yan dito sa group nating no. Ibig sabihin ng STEAMS, yun ngayon, yung pinukwento ko lagi sa inyo na kailangan, paglapag mo sa Pinas, pag nag-for good ka, the next day, magtuturo ka na kaagad sa public school. Hindi ka napipila, hindi ka na makikipag-ranking, hindi ka na magvo-volunteer ng ilang taon na pinapapupunta ka sa mga bulubundukin para, di ba, may volunteer habang hinihintay mo ang item mo kasi rank number 25 ka pa sa provincial office. Pag rank 25 ka, kailangan ma-hire mo na yung 1 to 24 bago ikaw. But if you are an OFW, pasok ka agad. Walang requirements. Papipiliin ka pa, mamili ka ng 4 na schools na malapit sa bahay mo. So, titignan doon kung alin doon ang unang magkakaroon ng item. Pero may item naman every year. And kung meron doon, stop. Kunin ko yan para yan sa isang OFW, sasabihin ni DepEd. Hindi kayo sa'yo. Okay? Yan yung pang-motivation namin sa mga teachers na nag-exert talaga ng effort para pumasa. Because should they wish to go back home, at least meron na silang doon. Meron na silang item sa public school. Pero sabi ko, mag-masters din kayo kasi syempre, pag may item ka sa Pinas, mag-umpisa ka sa Teacher 1. Lagi naman, kahit saan naman, mag-umpisa ka lagi sa Teacher 1 pag baguhan ka. Pero kung may master's degree ka, after few months, pwede kang magpa-reconsider. Ito ang qualification ko, naka-masters ako. So, para ma-promote ka into Master Teacher 1 or Teacher 3, di ba? So, yan sa Republic Act 9293. Next, Republic Act 4670. Alin po, Ma'am Cathy? Yung sa STEAMS. Yung STEAMS program, nag-start lang yan nung kay President Duterte. Kaya legacy ni Duterte yan sa ating mga teachers. Kaya, yung levels, yung sa teachers, Teacher 1, Teacher 2, sa atin sa Pinas, kaya yung mga teachers natin doon, sige, attend ng seminars, yan, lahat ng seminar pinupuntahan, nagsisipag-masteran, kasi for promotion. Teacher 1, Teacher 2, Teacher 3, tapos Master Teacher 1, pag naka-masters ka, Master Teacher 2, diba? Principal 1, Principal 2, Principal 3, Principal 4, mga ganun. Okay? Ayan. So, dapat alam mo naman para at least, malay natin, pag nakapagturo ka sa Philippines, may mga ganong levels. Okay? Now, so that was, or that is for RA 9293. Now, ang 4670, ang alam ko, ang laki ng ambag nitong Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. Okay? Kasi, 4670, it was passed into law in view of nandyan yung mga professional rights ng mga teachers, how to safeguard teachers to the community, okay? Yung mga difficulties ng mga teachers in the exercise of the profession. Kasama din dyan yung na-discuss natin before na Code of Ethics. Anong standard ba ang kailangang i-follow ni teacher? How should a teacher act in the community, in the school, in the country, to fellow teachers, and so on. Yun sa Code of Ethics. Okay? So ang Magna Carta for professional teachers, RA 4670. Ito yung mga important sections niya. So, kailangan talaga mabasa nyo rin yan. Nandyan yung Code of Professional Ethics. O, di ba, may separate discussion tayo dyan. Nandyan din yung hours of work and remuneration. Okay? Yung hours of work and remuneration. What else? Health measures and benefits ng mga teachers. Leave and retirement benefits. Nandyan lahat. And then, that we have also the freedom to join teachers' organization. So, ano yung hours of work and remuneration? Ang teacher dito sa UAE, nababiolate yan. Pero since hindi naman kasi tayo, wala naman tayo sa Pilipinas, I don't know kung dito, yung mga nagtuturo sa inyo, kung nasa Philippine school ka dito, naku, wala ka man lang pahinga. Ang pahinga mo lang yung break time or lunch break. Magtuturo ka maghapon. Pero if you follow this RA 4670 sa Philippines, any teacher engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of actual teaching a day. Di ba 8 hours ang pasok natin? Dapat 6 hours ka lang magtuturo, actual teaching. Okay? Kasi yung 2 hours, dapat yun ang gagamitin mo for your preparation, magpo-correct ka ng mga test questions mo, test paper. Yan. Yung normal duty ng teacher. Okay? So, ganun dapat. 6 hours ka magka-actual teaching. 2 hours mo din hindi naman pahinga, pero para naman sa ibang duty mo yun as teachers. Diba? Mag-check ka pa ng test paper, magre-record ka pa, meron ka pang i-guide na isang bata, ikina-counsel na bata, gano'n. But of course, kung kailangan naman, siyempre, pag tinawag ka, may absent, kailangan mong mag-substitute. Okay? Let's say, especially if there are, let's say, exigencies, for example, ng service mo as teacher will be required. So, pwede ka rin naman. More than 6 hours ang pagtuturo mo. Okay? Pero, dapat meron kang additional compensation. Okay? Ano ba ang additional compensation na yon? Dapat at least 25% of your basic pay. Ano yung additional compensation na sinasabi ko? Dapat 6 hours lang kasi ang pagtuturo mo. Pero kung, let's say, ginawa nilang nag-substitute ka araw-araw kasi, let's say, nabuntis yung isang teacher, walang papalit. So, kinuha ka kasi magka-major kayo. Okay lang, tanggapin mo yon, hindi yan violation, pero dapat mabayaran ka. Okay? Extra yun. Kumbaga, tawag din yung mga substitute, meron ka dapat remuneration, additional compensation. Okay? So, para alam din natin yung rights nyo as teachers. Health measures and injury, sa work pa. Yung sa criteria naman ng salary, meron tayong salary grade na sina-follow sa Philippines. Salary grade 15, 16, 17, pero equivalent na yun sa mga teacher 1, teacher 2, teacher 3. Iba-iba. Kaya kung mas mataas ang qualification mo, tapos senior ka, mas mataas din ang sahod mo. Okay? Or kahit baguhan ka pa lang, 5 years ka pa lang in the profession, pero naka-PhD ka, mas mataas din ang qualification mo, mas mataas ang salary grade na ibigay sa'yo. Kaya, you need to invest. Okay? Mag-invest kayo para sa qualification. I-try kong i-download yung salary scale sa DepEd para makita nyo din. Mababa sa atin. Ang teacher 1 doon ay wala pang 30, walang 30. Teacher 1 yun. Pero syempre, pag teacher 2, teacher 3, pataas yun, pero let's say 29, 32, 35, 38, ganun lang ang mga rate doon. Pero marami ding mga allowances ang mga teachers. Dati meron pa silang mga chalk allowance, uniform allowance, mga ganun. Now, meron din silang special hardship allowance na sinasabi. Like for example, ikaw ay nadestino sa far-flung area. Yung kailangan mong sumuong ng ilang bundok, okay? Especially if you are, let's say, yung mga teachers who are exposed to hardship, such as difficulty in commuting to the place of work nila, na minsan may mga hazards na din, diba? Yung pag ganon, sila yung nagkakaroon ng special hardship allowance. Kasi mahirap din yun. Diba? Yung umaakyat ka pa ng bundok para lang makapagturo, ma-reach mo yung estudyante mo doon. So, sa DepEd kasi yata is, ang special hardship allowance is equivalent to at least 25% of their monthly salary. Kasi, di ba, sino ba naman may gusto doon? Halimbawa, bihirang magkaroon ng electricity. Di ba? Minsan nakaano lang sila, yung solar lang. Tapos wala kayong mga facilities na 'di ba, gagamitin. So sila yung may mga special hardship allowance. Kaya wag nitong maliitin na, ba't mo tinanggap? Ang layo-layo, ganito. Hindi ka naman pwedeng mamili ng trabaho pag teacher ka, di ba? Kaya minsan nakikita natin sa TV, yung mga teachers, minsan OA na din yung mga teachers, exaggerated na din yung kahit hanggang leeg na ang tubig, sige lang, ano lang, di ba? May ma-content lang sa sa social media. Yung, ano ba yun, yung nagtatarsan na makarating lang sa kabilang tawag doon, kabilang bundok but of course, meron silang mga special hardship allowance. Health measures and injury benefits. Okay, ito yung mga medical examination and treatment for teachers. Compulsory naman ang mga medical examinations. Tapos free of charge for all teachers before they will take up teaching. Parang dito din, na magkailangan mo mag-medical bago ka magturo. Tapos, nire-repeat yon at least once, not less than once a year or during the entire professional life ng isang teacher. Okay? Tapos, kung lumabas sa medical exam mo na kailangan mo ng hospitalization, pwede ka rin i-provide ng government. Okay. Compensation for injuries. Meron din to. Teachers shall be protected against the consequences of employment injuries in accordance with existing laws. Siyempre, pag nandun ka sa teaching at na-injured ka, isi-settle yan ng government. Leave and retirement benefits. Leave, halimbawa, study leave. Ang study leave naman is privilege naman talaga yan ng mga teachers. Okay? In addition to the leave privileges now the teachers are enjoying as public schools, they shall be entitled also to study leave not exceeding 1 year. Okay? Pero, pwede lang yun sa'yo pag naka 7 years ka na. Okay? Pag naka 7 years ka na sa public school, pwede ka na mag-apply ng study leave. Sabihin mo, magli-leave ako ng basta wag lang more than 1 year, ha? Magli-leave ako kasi I need to study, I need to attend this certification program. So, while on study, sumasahod ka din. Okay? So, after 7 years pa yon, so it will be granted siyempre may schedule din, hindi ka nang basta-basta aalis-alis na lang. Okay? So, if you are on leave, yung salary mo should be 60% of your monthly salary lang makukuha. Kasi naka-leave ka eh. Okay? At least 60% of your monthly salary. Pero kung halimbawa, nag-masters ka, kailangan mong extend kasi more than 1 year ang masters, for example, pwede ka rin naman bigyan ng chance. Pero, basta after nung 1 year, hindi ka na masasahuran after that. Okay? Hindi ka na pwedeng sahuran. Kasi 1 year lang dapat ang leave study ng isang teacher. Okay? Ano pa ba? Indefinite leave. Pwede ka rin mag-indefinite leave. Especially kung yung nature ng illness mo, okay, or kung may sakit ka that demands a long treatment, at saka yung treatment na yun will exceed 1 year at least, you can apply for indefinite leave. Okay? And then last is teachers organization. Each teacher has the freedom to organize, to join any professional organizations basta for the betterment of teachers. Yan naman yung Republic Act 4670 or yung Magna Carta for professional teachers. And then yung Code of Ethics na discuss na natin. Okay? Next, Batas Pambansa 232. An act providing for the establishment and maintenance of an integrated system of education. When we say integrated, kasi dapat complete siya from KG1 to grade 12. Okay. So ito yung important sections niya. Chapter 2 yung rights ng mga bata, rights ng mga parents, rights ng mga teachers andun na sa sa Code of Ethics. Tapos duties and obligations ng parent, duties and obligations ng mga estudyante. Nandiyan. Tapos yung educational system natin. Ano yung mga formal education, ano yung mga non-formal education. Meron din tayong specialized educational services. Then, paano magpatayo ng school, establishment of schools, organization of schools, and then yung mga about finance and assistance. Nakapaloob lahat yan sa Batas Pambansa 232. Next, Republic Act 9155. Ito naman sa government na to. Okay? Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. When we say governance, andun yung accountability, si gobyerno ang siyempre, mag-aalat sila ng budget, sila ang may authority, accountability, sila ang magre-rename ng Department of Education, lahat-lahat. Okay? 9155. Republic Act 10157. Ito na yung mga mga special na lang to. Kindergarten Act. So, meron ng separate na act for kindergarten. Diba? Noong kasing, meron ng kindergarten before, pero nung na K-12 tayo, meron na tayong Kindergarten Act. Na, dati kasi ang kindergarten, nung wala pa siya sa basic education, parang private lang yun, private entity lang siya. Diba? Pero since meron ng Kindergarten Act, sinama na sa basic education system natin at saka yung pondo. Kaya ang mga teachers sa kindergarten, sumasahod na rin sa government. Dati, saan sila sumasahod? Sa barangay. Kung yung barangay ay may daycare, yung mga ganun, di ba? Ang sahod ng teacher doon sa daycare ay galing sa barangay. Sinasama siya sa anong tawag doon? Payroll ng mga barangay officials. That's Kindergarten Act. Ito naman, 10533. Alam niyo dapat ito. Ito yung Enhanced Basic Education of 2013, otherwise known as K-12. Okay? Ang pangalan ng K-12 is Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Okay? Ano yung laman niyan? Ito. Sabi niya, si Philippine Educational System dapat daw ay ma-strengthen the curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education. Ilang years ang dinagdag ulit sa K-12 sa ating education system? 3 years. Common mistake ito. Sabi nila, sir, 2. No, it's 3. Bakit, sir? Grade 11 and 12 lang na idagdag. Nakalimutan mo idagdag yung kindergarten. Kaya nga, K-12. Diba? Dati kasi walang kindergarten sa basic education. Mag-umpisa ka ng grade 1. Grade 1 to 10. Diba? Nung nag-K-12, dinadagan ng 11 and 12, tsaka kindergarten. Di mali ka na naman, sabi ko sa exam. Kung saan ang sinagot mo ay 2. Kasi iniisip mo lagi, kasi nung nagkaroon ng K-12, ang isip lagi, additional burden na naman yung 2 taon, grade 11, grade 12. Nakalimutang include na pag ang bata ay mag-aaral na, dapat mag-umpisa siya sa KG or kindergarten. Okay? Kahit 1 taon lang. Ay kung gusto mo, kahit mag-5 taon siya sa kindergarten, walang problema. Basta, i-consider lang doon ay 1 year. Kasi Isang taon lang ang required bago ka mag-grade 1. Okay? I presume may alam din kayo sa K-12, ha? Ito, ano tong MTBMLE? Mother Tongue Based Multi-Language Education. Aside from yung na-include yung K-12, 11, grade 12, tapos meron ng kindergarten, ano pa, spiral ang curriculum natin. Ang isang feature din yan is the MTBMLE, yung Mother Tongue Based. Pag umuwi kayo ng Philippines, di nyo ba napapansin yung mga maliliit na bata, grade 1 to 3? Ang pagtuturo nila doon ay mother tongue sa atin. Pag grade 1 to 3. So, ano ibig sabihin ng mother tongue? Halimbawa sa amin, Ilocos. Ilocano ang medium of instruction from grades 1 to 3. Tsaka lang sila mag-i-English, Tagalog na pag grade 4 na. Okay? Para mas maintindihan kasi ng mga bata. Tapos, kung let's say sa Cebu, Cebuana, Cebuano, Bisaya, Ilonggo, okay? Meron yung mga specified na dialect, mother tongue. Kasi, diba, mas nakaka-communicate ang bata kung ang language niya ay kung anong kinalakihan niyang language or dialect man yan. Okay? Yan yung isang feature ng K-12 curriculum. Grade 1 to 3 is MTB. Multi-language education. Kung kaya mong integrate ang English, ang Tagalog, integrate mo. Pero priority yung mother tongue. Okay? Imagine mo naman, syempre, ang mga bata sa baryo-baryo, let's say for example, Ilocano. Tapos nag-grade 1 sila, English na ang pagtuturo mo. Wala pa silang alam-alam sa English, di ba? So, dapat mother tongue muna. Tapos integrate mo, unti-unti, Tagalog, integrate mo konti-konti ang English, gano'n. Pero ang priority is mother tongue base. Republic Act 6655, ito yung Free Secondary Education Act of 1988. Free ang pag-aaral sa secondary, especially sa public, we are talking about public. Sabi ni Sir Alvin, sa mother tongue, yes, MTB talaga ang pagtuturo doon. Kung sa atin, Ilocano. Pero pwede ka rin mag-English sometimes para naman matututo yung iba ng English. Pero kasi mas matututo sila kung yung language nila ang inaano. Okay? Kahit magtanong kayo sa ibang kung saan yung area niya, sa province niyo. Pero syempre kung nasa Manila ka, Tagalog. Kasi yun naman ang mother tongue sa Manila. And other provinces na Tagalog talaga. Okay? May mga provinces yata sa Visayas and Mindanao is mother tongue, tapos English. Yung iba hindi daw sila marunong mag-Tagalog. Pero mas magaling silang mag-English kaysa mag-Tagalog. So, pwede rin yung ganun. Pero from grades 1 to 3, mandatory yon na mother tongue ang gamit. Okay? Pero kung nasa private school siya, sosyalin, okay lang. English yan. English yan. Okay? Sa public school, ang inaano natin. Siyempre sa private, di ba? Ang mga private school, international kunwari international siya. Di ba? So, English ang kanilang mga communication or medium of instruction. Kaya one time, nung baguhan ang K-12, one time na nagbakasyon ako, nakikinig ako doon kasi katabi namin ng school. Parang na-OA-an sa teacher na nagtuturo ng Ilocano. Di ba? Sabi ng teacher, ang hirap i-Ilocano ang mga topic. Kasi wala namang Ilocano na libro, di ba? Yung nasa libro naman is English and Tagalog. But kailangan nilang translate into kung anong dialect ang tinuturo nila sa mother tongue base. Okay? So, yung RA 6655, ayan, yung naging free ang Secondary Education Act sa public school. Ito naman ay 6728 8545 na amend. Ito naman yung an act providing government assistance to students in private education. Kasi ang private school, hindi naman siya sinasahuran ng gobyerno kasi private yun. Kaya ang mga private schools, meron silang tuition fee. Ang tataas ng tuition fee kaysa sa public na wala. Free. Diba? So si gobyerno, tinutulungan din niya ang mga teachers sa private. Meron tayong mga, di ba, may ESC scholars. I don't know kung familiar kayo doon. Yung mga estudyante, let's say for example, puno na ang mga public school, wala na silang slot, so kailangan nilang pumunta sa private. So si gobyerno, nagbibigay ng pondo kada private schools. Meron silang scholars na sinasabi na ESC scholar. So parang a certain portion sa tuition fee nila. For example, kung 20,000 or 30,000 ang tuition fee nila doon, 15,000 ang ibibigay ng gobyerno na tuition fee ng mga bata. Pero you need to identify na yung bata ay medyo mahirap, ganun. Wala kasi siyang slot sa public, kaya napunta siya sa private school. So meron niyang mga scholarship na binibigay ng government. And so with teachers, binibigyan din naman sila ng parang bonus galing doon sa ESC yan, government assistance. Okay? Kasi syempre, kaya minsan wala nang pumupuntang teacher sa public kasi mababa ang sahod sa public. Kasi private rather. Binibase lang kasi nila sa tuition fee ng mga bata. Pero may mga private schools na mataas ang sahod, especially yung mga social na school din, di ba? Yung mga special science high school. Hindi ko na-experience magturo sa public. Kasi nagturo ako sa private school kung saan ako nag-college. It so happened na meron silang laboratory school doon, special science high school. Ang taas ng salary din. Parang ka-level din ng public. Mas nagustuhan ko doon kasi complete ang facilities. O, di ba? Tuturo ako ng biology. Ang estudyante ko na 30 is tag-iisa ng microscope. Wala kang problema doon. Kompleto ang mga chemicals, pag-chemistry ang tinuturo mo. Ang ganda ng laboratory. So, kaya private. Hindi ko naman sinasabing pangit sa public, pero wala kasing material doon. Kasi nung high school kami, elementary and high school, public school ako. Iisang microscope na pinaghihiram-hiraman namin every day, tapos isa-isang sisilip. Diba? Makahawak lang ng microscope. Higher Education Act of 1994. Ito naman nung sineparate naman ang, di ba, kwento ko sa inyo, yung DEX kasi dati sa lahat ang may hawak. Department of Education, Culture, and Sport. Hawak niya ang basic education, ang college, saka ang vocational. Tapos, hinati. So, si Higher Education Act, ginawa na siyang CHED. Okay? So, creating the Commission on Higher Education, tapos, syempre, pupunduhan yung government. Yan yung Republic Act niya. Aside from that, meron din tayong TESDA Act of 1994. Para naman sa TESDA. Kaya 'di ba sa TESDA libre lahat mga courses doon. Okay? Sila nagbibigay ng mga certificate. Yung national certificate, yung mga NC, NC1, NC2, NC3 na sinasabi. Yan. Okay? So yan yung mga legal basis of education na pinaka-popular, pinaka-importante. Marami pa pero hindi naman na masyadong okay? 13 yan, plus yung Constitution, 14. Do you have any question? You can read more details about this basis sa mga in-upload. Konti lang yun. Baka sabihin nyo, baka naman sir, 10 pages o hindi. Ano lang mga yan, mga Republic Act lang. Okay? Parang yung mga bill na pinapasa sa Congress, sa Senate. Okay? So, do you have questions about legal basis? Later, mamaya ipapasagutin ko kayo ng mga practice test. Pero ipopost ko din doon about application ng legal basis. Let's see kung na-gets nyo po. Okay, let's proceed sa sociological and anthropological foundations of education. From the word sociology, it deals with the society, okay? The study of the society. So, eto, parang related din ito sa historical foundations. Pero sineparate lang natin, this is more on the culture natin. Okay? So, sociology, the science of man and society. It studies patterns of human behavior. It studies groups, societies, and how they affect the people. Diba? Great influencer ang society. Kaya, titignan natin yung patterns ng human behavior. And then, kung anong meron sa society that would affect us. Natututo din tayo. Kaya, meron ding sociological foundations. Okay? Kasi, when we say society, ito yung group of organized individuals. Okay? As a group, they think they are distinct as a group. They live together, sharing the same culture, occupying the same territory. Yan ang tinawag society. Hindi society ang tawag kung magkaka-kontra sila. Magkakaiba sila ng culture, magkakaiba ng paniniwala, then hindi siya pwedeng tawagin society. Kasi ang sabi ng society, they live together, sharing the same culture, same territory, interacts with one another, with common shared attitudes, sentiments, aspirations, and goals. That is society. Now, when you mingle, that is socialization naman. So, the process of adapting yung kung anong culture meron sila, conforming kung anong just to maintain peace and order, yung common needs and interests of the social group, we call that socialization. Okay? When we socialize, syempre, matututo tayo sa attitudes ng iba, sa values, actions, appropriate to individuals as member of the particular society. We call it socialization yan. Diba? Pag sinabi nilang, uy, lumabas ka, mag-reach out ka, makipag-socialize ka. Huwag ka lang magtatago dyan sa bahay. Di ba, one fundamental role ng teacher yan is to be a leader in the community. So, kailangan nandun ka lagi. Kailangan visible ka sa community. Especially kung may mga calamity, ganyan. Ikaw na teacher kasi ikaw ang inaasahan din nila. Okay? Now, what are the agents of socialization? Paano ba tayo nakakapag-socialize? Paano tayo natututo sa labas? So, we have family. Siyempre, school. Sa school, ang very powerful kasi maghapon ang mga bata sa school. So, most of their time, habang estudyante sila, nandun sila sa school. So, dapat maganda yung school as a training ground for individuals. What else? Church. Mass media. Mass ito. Mass naman nakalagay. Mass media. So, start natin sa family. Smallest social institution, whose members are united by blood, marriage, or adoption, constituting a household and having a common culture. Okay? So, sila yung agents ng socialization. When we say agents, doon tayo natututo sa mga group na yan. Ahente, kumbaga. Social institution. Siyempre, pag social institution ang pinag-uusapan, sa society, may mga groups din yan. We call it social institution. Okay? Mayroong group na para sa social needs. Meron naman yung para sa to govern behavior, yung mga rules and regulation. May isang institution or department for that. Meron namang department that promotes values. Okay? So we call them social institutions. So let's have family as an agent of socialization. Siyempre sa family, dyan natututunan ang health education, proper food to eat, proper hygiene, lahat. Dyan natin natutunan muna. Even academics, reading, writing, arithmetic sa bahay. Psychomotor mo, how to walk, how to dance, diba? Recreational skills, even moral, desirable social values, dapat natututunan muna yan sa bahay, sa family. Okay? Next, sa school. It is a center of learning. It's an institution. Siyempre, in-establish yan ng society for the total experiences ng ating mga estudyante. Ano ba ang role ng mga school? Agent of socialization, agent of cultural transmission. Agent of socialization, siyempre, our learners, our students, they will learn how to get along with other students in the school. Diba? Diyan sila natututo. Makipagkaibigan, makipagsapalaran. What else? Social ethics are also taught in the schools. Diba? Ano tong enculturation and acculturation? Ang enculturation is within. Okay? For example, yung custom and tradition natin sa isa community, yung group custom natin, yung belief natin, na ipapass on natin to the next generation. So, same ang culture, so within. Ang acculturation naman is you are learning other culture. Okay? Halimbawa, Christian, pwede bang mag-asawa ang Christian? Pwede naman na yata ngayon. Halimbawa, Christian ka, nakapag-asawa ka ng Muslim. So, nag-merge yung dalawang culture. Nag-merge yung tradition, customs, and belief. That is acculturation. Kasi you are learning other culture. Okay? Yung enculturation, na ipapass on mo lang, pero same culture pa din yun. Okay? Hindi lang culture, values. Yung mga values, attitudes, formation na na-transmit. Okay? Yan yung acculturation and enculturation. Primary group, secondary in-group, out-group, may circle, may gang, ano pa, clique. Depende, di ba? May mga iba-ibang groups na nakikita natin sa school. Church, number 3. Siyempre, kaya nga tayo nag-church para siyempre matuto din. A lifetime school of learning. Ano bang natututunan doon? Siyempre, history, yung mga sa scripture, sa Bible, okay? Prophecies, divine values like love, hope, and wisdom. What else? Mass media or the government. Natututo din tayo sa government. Siyempre, paano? Siyempre, kailangan nating mag-follow sa mga rules. So, a government is an institution entrusted with making and enforcing the rules of a society. Diba? In order to be considered a government, a ruling body must be recognized as such by the people it purpose to govern. Kaya isang malaking factor din ang government sa ating educational system as a foundation of education. Kasi iba-ibang government, like sa atin democracy, sa iba monarchy, sa iba authoritarianism, sa iba naman totalitarianism. So depende sa form or type of government. Kasi kung anong type of government mo, yun din yung ifa-follow sa paggawa ng curriculum. Okay? Since we are dealing with social or society, socialization, hindi rin maiwasan ang mga social problems. Diba? At dito, ang basis natin din sa ating mga paggawa ng curriculum, especially sa pagtuturo sa mga bata. Kasi kung hindi mo tuturo yan, baka alam nila ang alcoholism ay okay lang. Ang paggawa ng crime ay okay lang. Diba? So we need to inform them. We need to teach them that these are social problems. Okay? Social problems brought about by various factors na ginagawa nila. So drug addiction, racial prejudice, poverty, graft and corruption, lahat ng yan ay social problems. So, dapat ma-address lahat ito sa education na binibigay natin sa mga bata. Diba? Sabi nung social reconstructionism, diba? Kung anong kailangan ng social reform. Kailangan malaman kung anong mga kailangan ng society. Ano ang problem ng society. Yun ang ituro sa mga bata, yung solution para sila ay makapag-participate sa society. Okay? What else? Sa anthropology naman tayo. Ang anthropology naman, kanina is sociology, yung patterns of human behavior. Dito naman is origin and development of man, his work, yung mga achievements niya, and so on. That's anthropology. So, dito na natin i-emphasize ang culture. Okay? Kasi ang anthropology, it concerns the system of public schools of modern industrial society. Si August, sino ba ang father of sociology? So, kasi bakit kailangan i-study ang origin and development of man? Kasi yung mga individual experiences that a person gets from his family, friends, society, and lahat ng nakakahalubilo niya through socialization or with whom the person interacts, it will affect the behavior of that particular person. Kaya yung iba ang mga experiences nila kasi yun yung nakahalubilo nila. Okay? So, the public institutions therefore affect the education of a person. Maapektuhan yung education niya. Whether sa elementary siya, sa college siya, or any institution, or kahit sa kanyang trabaho, maapektuhan siya. Kaya minsan, depende rin sa komunidad kung nasaan ka. Okay? Kasi 'di ba, sociology of education, ang ini-study niyan is how yung mga elements ng society, how social elements have an effect or an effect on schools and individuals. Nakaka-apekto yan kasi it's the society, it's the community. Okay? So, in terms of anthropology, syempre yung culture, these are the shared products of human learning, the set of learned behaviors, beliefs, attitudes, values, and ideals that are characteristics of a particular society or population. We call that as culture. Diba? Nung pumunta tayo dito sa abroad, nag-adjust tayo kasi iba ang culture nila dito. Kasi dayo lang tayo, di ba? So, nakishare tayo sa product of human learning. Kung anong set of behavior meron sila dito, belief nila, attitudes nila, nagva-violate ba tayo? Hindi. Kailangan nating sumunod. So, ang gagawin natin, si-share din natin kung anong culture meron tayo. And we are happy kasi ang UAE naman is, di ba, lately nagkaroon sila ng ano yung parang mga team nila every year, like Spirit of the Union. Ano yung latest nila na diversity, parang ganon. Kaya medyo open na rin ang UAE sa mga culture ng ibang expatriates. Kasi nakita nila na we, expat, we are embracing their culture. Nirespeto natin ang culture nila. So we are sharing culture. We are learning from their culture. Diba? Pag may mga holiday sila, tuwang-tuwa tayo kasi ang dami nilang holiday dito. Diba? Ang dami nilang mga pag Ramadan nila, nakikiramadan din tayo. Nag-observe din tayo. And we follow. Diba? Natatakot nga tayong maghawak ng tubig pag Ramadan, pag nasa labas ka. Kasi baka maya't maya, iniinom mo na doon, bawal pa, bawal yun, di ba? So, this is a complex goal which includes belief, knowledge, lahat. Laws. Kaya yung mga laws dito, kailangan din nating mag-follow, di ba? Customs and other capabilities and habits acquired by man as member of the society. Since nandito tayo, na-acquire natin yan. Iba't ibang culture nila. Okay? Ano ba yung culture na sinasabi natin? O, pwede yung language. Norms. Yung standard of behavior na mini-maintain nila dito. Sanctions. Takot na takot tayo pag nakakita tayo ng mga pulis, di ba? Penalty, rewards for conduct concerning social norms. Pag hindi tayo nakapag-follow ng standard of behavior. May positive sanctions. Promotion, pay, medals, word of gratitude. May negative din, mga fines, imprisonment. And values. Values as an element of culture. Characteristics of culture. Culture is learned. At yung mga usual. Natin, we are referring to the Filipino culture. Okay? Eto, ability to survive. Napaka ang Filipino dyan. Diba? Diskarte sa buhay. Hard work and industry. Kaya gustong-gusto ang mga Pinoy dito kasi we are very hardworking. We are very industrious. And Filipinos can easily adapt because we are flexible. Hindi tayo basta-basta nag-give-up. Hindi tayo basta-basta nag-give up. And we have family orientation. Napaka ang ating close family ties. And Filipinos have joy and humor as part of our culture. However, syempre, meron din tayong mga weakness or weaknesses of the Filipino culture. Minsan nasosobrahan din natin ng pag-present ng ating culture. One is yung extreme personalism. Ano ba ang extreme personalism? Yung bang masyado tayong anong tawag? Ang bilis nating masaktan, parang ganon. We take things personally. Okay? We take things personally. Minsan, may sinabi lang si ganito, we are challenged we felt na na-challenge ng ating competence, di ba? Hindi mo alam na positive feedback pala yun. Okay? So, minsan, mga Pilipino yan, yung extreme personalism na sinasabi nila. Extreme family-centeredness. Ano tayo, family-oriented tayo, pero minsan nasosobrahan din natin. Diba? Ang extreme family-centeredness. Ano ba ang example ng mga extreme family-centeredness? Yung excessive concern for the family, ano pa, kahit mali na yung isa, siyempre family mo siya, tolerate, mga ganon. Ano pa, in terms of politics, we have excessive concern for yung family reputation. Diba? Use of one's office, one's power as a means of promoting the interest of the family. Yan, extreme family-centeredness yan. Factionalism, patronage, diba? Political dynasties. That's an example of extreme family-centeredness. Ayaw nyo lang mawala yung na para sa inyo pa din yung ano na yun. So, ayan, sige, pasok si ganito, yung apo, sumunod si nauna si lolo, si anak, si apo, di ba? That's family-centeredness or extreme family-centeredness. So, pag ganyan kasi, nawawalan tayo ng concern for the common good. Nawawalan tayo ng concern for the common good. And eto, minsan, nagbablock siya sa national consciousness natin. Okay? Next is third, lack of discipline. Aside from being compulsive sometimes, disiplina tayo sa time. Minsan poor ang time management natin. Passivity and lack of initiative. May mga ganyang culture ang mga Filipino. Yung ano ba yun? One waits to be told what has to be done. Diba? Yung walang initiative, naghihintay siyang pukpukin bago magtrabaho. May ganyan. That's passivity. We are having a strong reliance to others. Minsan, yun ang sakit natin sa Pilipinas. Like, pag may mangyari lang, nasaan ang president? Anong ginagawa ni president? Kaya ba niyang tulungan yung 110 million? Diba? Tapos pag may konting ano lang, ayuda, sige, diba? We have strong reliance on the government. Bakit tayo magtrabaho ng maayos, diba? Konting kembot, marcha, anong tawag na, strike. So, that's part of passivity and lack of initiative. Colonial mentality, ito yung basic na sinasabi about Filipinos, which is tama naman. Sa atin ba, may bumibili pa ba kayo ng products ng Philippines? Di ba? Colonial mentality, two dimensions naman yan. First, yung lack of patriotism. Okay? Yung second naman, yung actual preference for foreign things. Na you prefer the foreign fashion, prefer the entertainment, mas manood ka ng K-pop kaysa mga pelikulang Pilipino. Ano pa? Consumer items, lifestyle. Lumagaya ka sa mga Western. Diba? Yung lack of patriotism naman, yung wala ka man lang appreciation sa Philippines, your love for the Philippines. So that's colonial mentality. Ang mentality natin is mga colonial, sa mga colonials. 6, kanya-kanya syndrome. Diba? We Filipinos sometimes we have a selfish, we have self-serving attitude that generates a feeling of, yung selosan, envy, minsan yung competitiveness towards others. Tapos, from that, dyan lumalabas yung ating yung hilaan, crab mentality na sinasabi. Diba? We demonstrate that the so-called crab mentality that we tend to pull each other down. Kung may makikita tayong Pilipino na umaangat, kailangan mong hilain. How? Chismis, intriga, unconstructive criticism just to bring others down. That's kanya-kanya syndrome. Okay? And then last, we have lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. Okay? Minsan, kahit napakaseryoso yung problem, ginagawa nating binabaliwala because of lack of analysis, di tayo nagre-reflect, di ba? Wala tayong self-reflection. Sometimes we joke about the most serious matters, and this prevents looking deeply into the problem, di ba? Hindi na natin titignan yung problema kasi minsan ginagawa na natin joke. Sabi na natin there's no felt need to validate our explanation of things. Minsan satisfied na lang tayo sa superficial, yung mababaw lang na explanation. Pag ganun, syempre, mababaw lang din ang solution sa problem. So that is lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. Yan yung mga culture pa din ng mga Pilipino naman. Okay? So ano ang implications ng mga to? Anthropological, sociological implications to education. Siyempre, in terms of curriculum, kailangan pag-aralan ng DepEd and CHED kung ano yung mga problems sa society para yun yung magiging laman ng gagawing curriculum. Ang curriculum dapat in all learning institutions should be examined so that those will be responsive to the needs of the society. What else? Parents should be involved in the school projects and activities and in enculturation and socialization process. Yan yung implication. Bakit bigyang emphasis ang society, socialization, ang mga social institution, agents of socialization, especially the government, social media, mass media, kasi napaka-powerful. So, kailangan makialam na dyan si CHED and DepEd. Do you have any questions? May mga ibang part pa dito, pero those are self-explanatory. It's about society and so on. Okay?
Thank you so much for watching. Before leaving, please do click the like, subscribe and get notified button.